Hello there, Vic Benedict here. We're playing Gears of War 4 on the PC on Inconceivable difficulty. This is my solo campaign through the game. We're currently on Act 3-4. It is entitled Do Not Go Gentle, which is an allusion from the Dylan Thomas. It's either a novel or a poem, I'm not sure. And if you're wondering why I just pronounced poem as a poem, well, my teacher used to do it for some reason. I have no idea why he used to do that, but it speaks of absurdity to me, quite honestly. But anyway, so this is it's a difficult chapter. Let's just be honest about it. And I did have some interesting tangents, at least some tangents that I thought might be interesting that I wanted to talk about. But these fights are so difficult that I don't know if I'll have very much time to talk about anything other than the fights. But if time permits, I will bring them up because I just had some tangents. But okay, so this room over here. See over there to the right, there is an area that has a dead end in it that you might potentially utilize as a place to funnel enemies into, but I don't believe it has any cover in it. It might have a little bit of cover, but since there's no way to get out of it, it might be risky to go over there. There's also a place to the left that has 2 points of interest, or excuse me, 2 points of accessing it, and you can frag tag on both entrances over there, but what I decided to do is I'm going to save up all of my grenades for the Juvies and the 2 Pouncer fight that's coming up near the end of the video. And it turned out that there's probably some frags over here. Yeah, there are, if you want to. Well, I guess it depends how many you start the chapter with, because there are 2 frag grenades in that room over to where we just were. So if you did have 4, I think I had to restart this chapter. I'm not sure, but the bottom line about the previous fight is that I tried to go to the left and to the right, doing different alternative strategies, and it ended up just being more successful. I had more success, that is, just standing in the middle of the room and defending my position. But you could try different techniques. You should remind yourself, though, when you get to this far, that you're not going to get a checkpoint until this part is cleared, and the safe way to clear this fight is to stay back here, just far and away. But yeah, the previous area, there's not much time to talk about these fights because some of them go pretty quickly. The next several fights are very difficult, so I do think that if you're running into trouble in the previous fight, and if holding your ground in the middle of the room is just not working for you, you can try going to the left. I think the left area is safer just because it has a way for you to get out of it. Being in a dead-end room spells of disaster on a Gears of War game, especially if it doesn't have any cover. So before we get to the next checkpoint, I'm going to head to the right over here and grab the long shot so that it checkpoints me with the long shot, so I don't have to pick it up every time. And the long shot is going to be quite helpful for not only this fight but for the next fight too. Now, this fight over here is unique in that enemies are going to be extremely aggressive, more so than they often are. I remember that from last time, that for some reason they seem to have heightened the enemy aggression up a little bit in this room with enemies just being bold. So having the long shot over here is good for nailing and headshotting anybody who's going to be digging himself up in cover in the distance. And then the chainsaw is going to be pretty much indispensable over here for anybody who decides to make bold and try to do the same to you, potentially in a figure of speech or literally if they have the chainsaw. I'm not sure what these guys are wielding. Now when enemies come up here and they charge your teammates, it could be good if your teammates are capable of killing them, but if the enemy downs your teammates, they're going to come for you. So you've got to move the camera and see what's going on if an enemy comes up here, because it might turn out that your teammate won't be able to successfully fend off the enemy. See, he's going over here to this guy, and Kate just didn't seem like she had the ability to be successful in that situation. Now, the last time I did this guy, see, look how many chargers you get on here. That might have been a grenadier too. Last time I did the project, I remember remarking on the Pouncer and Juvie's fight that I wish I had some grenades to frag tag on the ground, or it was either that or that I wish I had more. So I made sure that I had 4 frag grenades for the Pouncers and Juvie fight, and the grenades did end up helping out a little bit. I think they actually did something more than just having a placebo effect, but the bubbles that are next to you, these little pod bubbles, see how many people charge you? It's incredible. It's downright incredible. So that's what I don't like about this fight. But those blisters that you take cover behind, when they burst, they do stagger you if you're close to them. So be careful about that. But yeah, definitely long shot's so helpful here. The long shot and Lancer combination, probably the best combination you can have, I would think. The next fight, we're going to pick up some torque bows too. Look, again, wow, it's incredible. It's incredible. But I just ran to the kitchen because, like, when I was trying to do the commentary for this video, I had a tremor in my leg, and I was literally shaking from being so hungry, and it brought to mind all of the YouTubers out there who just literally beg in every video for you to give them $1 on Patreon. And it's ironic too that it's a lot of these people who are doing it, if you can call them people, because to me they're more animal-like than people. But a lot of these let's just call them human dregs for a euphemism. A lot of these dogs, they already have a lot of subscribers, so they're already having enough income. So it calls to the question, why are you begging then? Is there an underlying financial problem, or are you just that greedy? I will never subscribe to a channel who asks me to give you $1 on Patreon. Like, what kind of... There's something seriously wrong with you if you have to ask for like $1. But anybody who in every video asks me to like and subscribe, or like, favorite, and subscribe, I know that's a trick you can work, but it's a trick, and it bothers the holy shit out of me, and I will never subscribe to a channel who asks me. If you say like and subscribe in a video, I will never subscribe to you. It's just the bottom line. That's extremely fucking annoying, and YouTube should flag those videos. You shouldn't be allowed to say that on any video. See those two guys? Torque bow guys just got instantly killed by us. We used the long shot, and that gave us a good advantage, because when you put down enemies faster, that gives them less of a chance to use their ammunition. So when we pick those torque bows up, they should be giving us the most ammunition we can get for ourselves. Now, I ended up going into the next fight with 9 torque bow rounds. So last time I think I had 12. So that does show you that you get less ammunition, because I just and I even waited to kill those torque bow guys. Like, one of the torque bow guys that I killed on my last Insane project guide, I killed him like the last guy that I killed. So I mean, I took care of those torque bow guys first thing. So they didn't have a chance to spend any of their ammunition, and I still only got 9. I got the 2 drops from the torque bow guys, and I'm gonna edit it out of the video, but in the crater up here, there was a torque bow as well that ended up giving me more ammunition than the guys who had dropped their torque bows. So I ended up having 9, which I'll take 9 any day. But yeah, begging like that, you have to wonder, if you're asking for $1, you must have some serious financial problems, or a fundamental greed issue that that you should be reprimanded for and punished on YouTube for it. Like, you shouldn't be able to say like, favorite, and subscribe. It's obnoxious. But there's not enough time to talk about it because I do believe that the fight's almost over. So what we're going to do for success in this next room is we're going to switch to the torque bow because it's very powerful, and we're going to use it. It's my favorite weapon in the game. It's definitely it's such a unique weapon that's so fun to use. So we're going to replace our long shot with a torque bow, and then we're going to just scour the room, pick up as much Lancer ammunition as we can. Now, how long did the next fight take me? Because it's a notorious room. A lot of people know that it's difficult. It took me a little over an hour, and it's never the pouncers that's the problem. It's always the Juvies. They're hard to control in that room. So I remember last time saying, well, I wish I had some more frag grenades so I could put them on the floor. See, two, and then 2. So there's 4. Now, how did I come up with the other 5? Well, there was a torque bow. Just search that pit where we sealed it up. There should be a torque bow in there for you. So, and you don't even need that many torque bow rounds either, because 3 active reloads will kill one of the pouncers. But how can you be guaranteed to do that? Plus, you can't active reload a first round. So here's the first phase of this. It's just a pouncer, and then you're gonna have a screamer calling up a whole bunch of Juvies coming up to you, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna clear these guys up as fast as we can. Unfortunately, you have to go through 2 waves of Juvie killing. There is a Nasher over here if you want. I don't care for it myself, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay down a couple of frag grenades for these Juvies, and it's amazing how far these guys can jump to reach you. But so when you're frag tagging on the ground, you can't set off the frag tags, or I keep saying that, you can't set off the frag grenades by yourself if you run past them. But if Juvies run past them and you're near, then you're gonna get blown up too. So basically, it's just a tool to use so that you can lure Juvies to their death while they're chasing you and while you're doing the roadie run. Here's phase 2. Now, here's the key to winning this fight, because it does come down to luck. You've got to kill these guys as fast as you possibly can. Your teammates have to do a good job of killing them, and if you can get them to chase you, then the frag grenades that you've put on the ground should be able to help you out. Because my theory is that if you've got 3 or 4 of these guys chasing you and they're hot on your heels, if you run past a frag grenade and trap them, then they can get instantly killed. Of course, it is a theory, and the implementation of it is going to vary. My hunch was that, like I said, if I can have a bunch of these guys chasing me, then I can pretty much just bait them into running over the frag grenades, and then hopefully that could kill like 3 or 4 enemies. And if you're having a hard time with this, I completely understand, because so many things have to go right in a fight like this. I mean, by the time you get to this point, your nerves are working on you for certain. You just don't want to have all your progress lost, because the real hard part of this is it's just the Juvies. I mean, when you think about it, the Pouncer is not the problem. I mean, so what is this fight when you think about it? It's a Pouncer, and then it's just the 2 waves of Juvie. So all this fight is, when you really think about it, is it's 2 waves of Juvies and a little bit of overlapping of the Juvies and the Pouncers in between the second wave, and then when you're fighting the second Pouncer. So, removed from the situation, you can step back from it and say, well, this might work and there's some theories about it. But like I said, so many things have to go right in a fight like that. And one of the things is your teammates coming through for you, like they came through for me on that part over there. They helped me clear up some juvies, and if they didn't directly kill them, they at least distracted them so that I could have a moment's peace, so that I could focus my attention on them, separate myself from the Pouncer as much as I possibly could. But yeah, not an easy fight. Unpleasant, to say the absolute very least. Okay, now we're going to be navigating the tunnels. You can go to the lower one, or you can go to the higher one. Since I went to the higher one on my insane guide, I'm going to be taking you guys through the lower path. Now, mark this. We're going to see these enemies up here spotted. Now, the game does that, as I believe, as a courtesy, just to tell you that there are enemies up there who can instantly kill you, because those are the guys up there wielding torque bows. Now, the difficult thing about this part is that there's 3 swarm down here, 2 of whom have the hammer burst, 1 of whom has the lancer. So you've got the threat of the torque bow guys up there, and you can really hear when those torque bows are revving. So just be careful. I mean, just stay back and try to focus on just minding your P's and Q's when those guys are firing their torques, and because your teammates, your squad mates on that have gone on the other side of the tunnel, they're going to take care of the guys with the torque bows. So your responsibility down here is just killing these 3 guys and pretty much just avoiding the guys with the torque bow. Okay, so I also wanted to show you that you can vault over cover or stun enemies like that and knife them. Enemies can do it to you, and you can do it to enemies as well. So, the funny thing about the end of that fight that we just did with the Pouncers and the Juvies, they don't checkpoint it until you get to the cave selection. So, like right before the cave selection. So you can accidentally, this happened to me. If you watch my insane guide, you might remember that after that fight I instantly resetted my checkpoint, and it put me before the fight with the Pouncers and the Juvie. So be careful. And the interesting thing about, and I don't know if you would call it irony, it's probably not irony, but the kind of funny thing about the cave selection, if you want to go high or low, is that this is the harder path, and this is the path that you get pretty much 0 rewards for doing, except the satisfaction of perhaps doing it. Which I'm not estranged from that concept, because I pretty much do my videos on YouTube for peanuts. So just remember that. But it's funny because you can go on the high path, have an easier time because it is the easier of the 2 paths. There's just absolutely no comparison. That first part that we just did, I mean, look at this. We almost got killed by these guys. You get a huge payoff for doing an easier path. What's the payoff? You get 3 drops of torque bow rounds. So it's funny how sometimes, and it's applicable to life too. You can take the easy way out, and you might even prosper. But it's those people that have no scruples who are usually the ones that feel no satisfaction for doing a job well. Because my videos, I can't say that I've done every one of the videos on my channel to the utmost, but I can say that the large majority of large majority is an oxymoron, but the majority of my videos on YouTube were done with dedication and care and attentiveness, and I've always cared about what I cover on my channel. I love Gears of War. I love playing video games that are a certain type, of course. But I just I did have the temptation to go on the other path, but we are going to be getting some torque bow rounds in the next fight from one of the the holes, so we'll be able to get one of those. And I hold no resentment, guys, for the fact that I pretty much doing YouTube for I mean, I get a little bit of money. They throw a little bit of money my way, but it's less than $40 a month. So got to figure the amount of effort I'm putting into my videos. There's no real there's definitely no financial justification for doing what I'm doing on YouTube. So it's just for the pure enjoyment of making the videos. So, and I don't hold any resentment towards. Well, I can't say that, because sometimes I do kind of resent the fact that my audience isn't the most talkative bunch of people, and I just wish that more people would comment and more people would, just interact. I remember earlier in the video, I find that the people that say like, favorite, and subscribe, I find them detestable. It's just because I know that they know exactly how to play the YouTube game, and there is some bitterness about it personally, but what can you do? The people that say like, favorite, and subscribe, they know that saying that is in their best interest. And I suppose it would be in my best interests too, but I stick to a set of principles on YouTube. If I don't want to hear that when I'm listening to a video, then I certainly as hell don't want to say it, and I don't want to bother. It probably doesn't bother that many people, but let me know if it does bother you, as it bothers me. I'd be interested to know if how many other people it bothers. I mean, I can understand saying it once occasionally, but every video, I just think it's more obnoxious than anything else. Okay, so this is the last fight of the chapter, guys. Before you enter this whole fight, yeah, that is an indication of clipping. It does not appear to be an indication that you're not dealing damage, because I love the fact that your gun reticle turns red when you have the aimer placed over enemies. One of the real pure like love and joy of what I'm feeling when I play this game currently is coming off of having played Uncharted, where the emphasis is more on story, even though the gameplay is fantastic. But the level of gameplay, like competency, polish, and like this just represents to me the highest, like the penultimate shooting experience for a third-person shooter. Like, it's just like heaven to sink your teeth into something like this. Anyway, that's about that, guys. Tough chapter, and gals. I know a few women watch the videos too. Do you see where I just was and where I crouched? That's a very bad position to be, because I've got killed 2 snipers standing right over there where I just was. So be quite careful as you make your approach up here. And then unfortunately we have to do the horde-like chapter in the next chapter. So even though it's a horde-like chapter, I'm glad that it's not going to be too long. We can get through it real quickly, and then we can proceed with the regular formula of the game. Okay, for Big Benedict Productions, this has been Act 3-4. I will see you in 3-5. Take care.